Kevin, we'll get into the numbers in a moment, but, there really isn't a more urgent stat than these jobless figures to demand for structural change, would you say?
Devin, I would agree wholeheartedly with that. It's all about job creation. I would regard that as the #1 economic objective in South Africa. Everything flows once you start to create jobs. If you're worried about inequality, if you're worried about healthcare, if you're worried about tax collection, all of that requires employment in order to improve that. And clearly, in order to get the improvement, you need much more confidence in the business sector. You need much more broad-based economic growth. And to me, that has to be the center of all of this discussion. Unfortunately, obviously, we've got a broader agenda that tends to be discussed at the budget. But hopefully, the latest numbers do focus attention much more on that urgent need to create employment.
Kevin, I want to, focus on that 15 to 24-year-old bracket. I mean, how do you fix that? Because from what I'm seeing, there are 10 million young people in that bracket. 3.3 million of them are not in employment, not in education or training. That needs some serious fixing, doesn't it?
Yes, so within the labour market, that is by far the biggest problem in essence. That's youth unemployment. And when we break down the youth unemployment problem, it seems to be that the key obstacle is people getting their first job opportunity. The data suggests that once you've got some sort of work experience, even if you then lose your job, your ability to regain employment is actually not too bad. But getting people that leave school, leave a college, leave a university to get them their first job opportunity, we're really struggling to do that. And so we've got to look at a couple of things. One would be, are we providing young people with the right skills and the right technical skills? And it's, to my mind, we've got to up the technical component of our training enormously. And the second thing is to find a way to link the training directly to industry, where industry can be assured of certain skills that they can draw on and create more of a seamless pipeline between training, leaving school training, and then getting at least some work experience. Now, there are various initiatives that try and do that, but they're not all that effective. And I guess in the background, companies are reluctant to expand and increase employment generally. So there are a multiple of factors at work here. But I think we've got to do more in terms of the skills development and the uptake of young people. And then broadly, we've got to do a hell of a lot more in terms of fixed investment, expansion of private sector that simply affords people more opportunities to find jobs.
And at the center of that is the alignment, as you pointed to, between what is needed and what comes out of these education institutions. Now, what's your take on what the post-vaccine period should look like? I mean, we should be thinking about that environment, the economic environment now, shouldn't we?
100%. So we think that we're going into actually a better global environment over the next 2 years. Part of that just relates to base effects. Part of it relates to a general uptick in the world economy as you get the vaccines administered. Part of it relates to simply pent-up demand. You can imagine how much tourism or entertainment spending hasn't happened. And all of that can start to occur over the coming months, depending on how quickly you can roll out the vaccine. So to me, if I look forward, there is an opportunity for South Africa to benefit from a better global environment. And therefore, I think we've got to start to gear up for that. That doesn't mean we've got to radically open up the economy, but it does mean we've got to look for opportunities to maybe expand our export capability a little bit more, make sure that infrastructure is upgraded in terms of port and rail capacity, try and benefit more from the commodity price cycle that's unfolding. And then let's see what we can do to boost domestic confidence. The key ingredient that's missing here is a confidence indicator. Whether it's consumer or business confidence, we're incredibly depressed. And obviously the budget can change that. And I understand the budget is really constrained in terms of the fiscal parameters. But the general tone, the general focus can be a lot more encouraging than what we've seen at the moment.
And we'll know about that at 2 o'clock tomorrow when the Finance Minister takes to the podium to deliver that budget. Kevin Liggs, Chief Economist at Stanlib, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.